Hey, coaches. Today we're going to talk about overcoming imposter syndrome and 3 things that you can do for this today. My name is Krista Kathleen. I'm a life coach and business mentor, and I specialize in helping women to answer the calling of becoming a life coach and starting an online coaching business. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So through my years of work of being a coach, I've noticed that this is something that affects a lot of new coaches, is imposter syndrome. And this is something that I struggle with as well. I got my PCC certification through the International Coaching Federation about 2 years ago, and I'm still convinced that I somehow slipped through the cracks, or they made a mistake, or they were just not in their right minds when they sent me that acceptance letter saying that I got my PCC certification. So that is a classic symptom of imposter syndrome right there. And I actually want to read you a more legit definition. So imposter syndrome is the overwhelming feeling that you don't deserve your success. It convinces you that you're not as intelligent, creative, or talented as you may seem. It is the suspicion that your achievements are down to luck, good timing, or just being in the right place at the right time. And it's accompanied by the fear that one day you'll be exposed as a fraud. So actually, Dr. Pauline Rose Clance, who was a therapist, was the first one to really start publicly studying and talking about imposter syndrome. And she noticed that it was something that was happening in her female undergrad students, and that they were all talking about and complaining that they weren't sure if they were qualified enough to have gotten into grad school. And imposter syndrome is also something that affects 70% of people at some point in their career and in their life. So as we can see, this is a real thing that is holding professionals back from moving forward with their success, including new life coaches as well. Hence why we're talking about this today. So Valerie Young, who did an amazing TED Talk on this, and I'll include the link below, she found some common traits and patterns that show up in people with imposter syndrome that I want to read off to you. So the first is people who categorize themselves as a perfectionist, or they set really high expectations for themselves. So that's me. You can go ahead and raise your hand if this describes you. The next is people who categorize themselves as like experts, or they feel that they need to know every single piece of information before they can like start charging, or before they can start like calling themselves a life coach. So this happens to me still all the time, where I'm like, oh, I need to do this training and this training and this training before I can really charge the rates I want. So we have to be, careful of that happening. People who describe themselves as like a natural genius, or naturally gifted, skilled, and talented. And most people, when they come to me, say that they feel like they're a natural coach, which is amazing because, you already are a natural coach. You've probably been coaching people for years already. The only thing is that you feel like if the skills don't start coming really easy to you and you start to struggle, that like maybe something's wrong and you're an imposter, which isn't true. And then soloists. So soloists think that they have to accomplish everything on their own. If they have to ask for help, then they might be an imposter. And then the supermen or superwoman complex, where they push themselves to work harder to prove that they're not imposters. They feel the need to succeed in all aspects of life and work, as parents, as partners, and they feel stressed when they're not accomplishing something. So they wrap their self-worth in what they produce, what they accomplish. That definitely describes me. My therapist even told me that. So also another thing is people with imposter syndrome are really afraid of being found out by friends and family that, maybe they're not the real deal, that they're a fraud. And I've noticed that this happens a lot in life coaches when they're first stepping into their new role and they want to go out there and they want to tell the world, this is who I am, this is what I do, but they're so scared of what their friends and family think. And so again, this is where something like that would come into play. So why do people experience imposter syndrome? Unfortunately, there's not really a clear-cut answer right now. I wish there was, but there's not. They're doing studies and research and trying to find out, is it like an environmental factor? Is it a personality trait? Again, they just don't have an answer. But the good thing is that it is probably likely to strike for you at some point, especially when you're getting ready to start something new. So imposter syndrome also strikes at moments of success. So like starting a new job, receiving an award or promotion, taking on extra responsibility, becoming a first-time parent, starting your own business. So if you're a new life coach and starting your first online business, then imposter syndrome is probably going to happen. And so that's why you want to be prepared for it. You want to take proactive steps versus reactive, and not let imposter syndrome get in the way of you moving forward, right? If you spend all of your days feeling like you're a fraud, you're not good enough, then you're not going to put yourself out there. You're not going to make any money. You're not going to find any clients. You're not going to be able to use your gifts to help make an impact on others and change people's lives. So that's why it's really important that we're having this conversation today and we're addressing this head on, so that way it doesn't prevent you from having a successful coaching business. So next, let's talk about 3 things that you can do to help you to move through the imposter syndrome when it happens. The first is to acknowledge how you're feeling, to give space for the feeling. So, right, a lot of times when we're feeling something that we don't want to feel, or it's shameful or embarrassing, we tend to say, oh, I shouldn't feel like that. This is bad. This is wrong. And I want you to practice not doing that. So if a feeling comes up of like, I don't know if I'm good enough to be a life coach, then just say that out loud. Say, right now, I'm feeling like I'm not good enough to become a life coach or for people to pay me for my services. And that's okay. Then, show yourself some love. That's okay to feel like that. It's okay to feel like this right now. This is how everybody feels in the beginning. All new life coaches feel like this, right? So really giving yourself the space to acknowledge how you're feeling, because in order to heal, we do need to feel. All right, the next thing that you can do is you can do some, journaling exercises and some affirmation work. So one of the things, if you're feeling like, as you're like, oh my gosh, wait till everyone finds out that I have no idea what I'm doing, then, you can tell yourself, well, everyone who starts something new in the beginning feels like this. This is common. This is normal. Or if you feel like everyone else is a successful life coach, but not you, then you can say, well, I'm so excited that there's so many successful life coaches in the world that I get to really learn from and learn from their success so I can be successful too. So, right, you can start to flip that script for yourself. Also, something that I have my clients do is I have them write a letter to whatever feels unresolved in their life. So you could write a letter to imposter syndrome, personifying imposter syndrome. And so what this does is it helps you to separate the problem from yourself, and you're not feeling like you are the problem, but this is something that like exists within you. So what that could sound like is like, and I would recommend doing on pen and paper, is like, dear imposter syndrome, I recognize you've been in my life for a long time now, and I don't see you going away anytime soon, but I'd love to have a better relationship with you moving forward. I recognize that you're trying to keep me safe. You're trying to protect me. You don't want me to go outside my comfort zone, but I'm going to be honest, it's not working for me anymore. That's not going to help me to fulfill my purpose and to help change others' lives. So how about we both agree that when you pop up from time to time, that I'm going to kind of tell you to take a hike, and then we can just keep going on our merry way. Sound good? Great. You're the best. Love, Krista. Right. So write a letter to imposter syndrome, read it out loud to someone that you trust, so that way you can be witnessed. And then after that, you can burn it, you can tear it up. It's a really powerful exercise. My clients absolutely love this exercise. Also, something too that you can do is like, I love mantras and affirmations. So, choosing a mantra or affirmation and then writing it out or saying it out loud over and over again, or using the Think Up app where you can record it and then hear it played back in your own voice. So some different ones you can use are like, I am talented, I am highly skilled, I am worthy. I deserve this. I am a good enough life coach. I'm an excellent life coach. I deserve to be paid for my time and my knowledge, right? So, any type of positive affirmation that wants to become your new truth. Okay, and then the third thing that you can do to work through imposter syndrome is to practice receiving. This is a lot easier said than done. So practice accepting compliments, recognition, praise, and celebrating the wins. This is also a lot of the work I do with my private clients is when they're setting goals is to really allow themselves to practice wins each week because again, this is an important part of imposter syndrome is feeling like we deserve our success. We are worthy of our success. And then I wanted to add in one last bonus tip at the end here is just be mindful when you all are on social media and especially when you're seeing like all these marketing and ads popping up for different types of master classes and webinars and trainings and everything, because a lot of these marketing companies will prey on people's pain points and insecurities and weaknesses. So even the other day, like last week, I was online and I saw something for like a complete email closing set where they, have all the email templates for you so that you don't have to write any of your own. And as I was like going through the sales page, I was like, oh, I'm not doing my marketing right. I'm not writing my emails right. Like this is the way that you have to do it. And I started to like really doubt myself that I had been messing all this up all these years and that I have no idea what I'm doing and they know all the answers. So I need to purchase their product. So as you can see, right, like it was really affecting my confidence. And I see this happen all the time too with my clients and the new coaches in my communities is after being on social media is they're really just doubting themselves, they're comparing themselves, they're feeling like they don't know the answers, they don't trust themselves. And we do not want to be in this space. It is really hard to create from this space and to believe in ourselves and to show up as the expert from this space. So, I think it's a good idea in the beginning to do a social media detox and I'm going to be honest with all of you. I don't spend a lot of time consuming other people's social media. I don't spend time in other people's Facebook groups. I don't do TikTok. I really am not on Instagram. Like I just show up on social media to support my followers and to create my content. And then I get off because I just don't feel good. And I feel even more like an imposter after spending a lot of time on social media. So this might be something that you might want to practice too, is limiting your time or maybe taking a complete detox except for to do, to run your business. So, all right. I hope that was helpful for you. I'm going to be doing a lot more research, a lot more videos on imposter syndrome, since, like I said, this is something that really blocks a lot of new coaches. So just know you're not alone here. What you're going through, there's hundreds of thousands and millions of other people in this world going through it too. So you can feel the imposter syndrome and you can still take action. You can feel the imposter syndrome. You can still change clients' lives. You can feel imposter syndrome. You can still make a lot of money. So even if you're going through this, you can still be a really successful life coach. All right. Let me know in the comment section below what was the most useful for you today. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and I'll see you later. Bye.